Welcome to my Scrappin space. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin. And I have an adorable bunny card to share with you today. I'm using mine for Easter, but it'd be a great baby card too. Let's get my face out of the way and let's talk. So this is the card we're making. So cute and so easy. We're using lots of pieces from the Storybook Moments Suite to make it that easy. There's 2 paper packs in the suite, and I'm pulling from both of them. I'm pulling a plaid, just an adorable little plaid right here, this one and this one, and I'll show you those. But I'm also pulling from this side, not paper, but these great die cuts. I see my fence wants to keep popping out. That's what goes there, and the little bunny I used went there. So these die cuts could be used in so many ways, and they just add just a layer of interest to your cards, and they're so easy to use. I find myself using them more and more, and each time I think, oh, I love these. Why don't I use them more often? So let's talk about our card. I'm going to get these pieces out of the way. The die and stamp set I used are the Storybook Friends bundle, and there is in here Easter greetings, which I'm using, but happy spring, welcome little one, somebody loves you, hello friend, and thank you so very much. So it's a really versatile set. Plus, if you want lots of little animals, more than are in the die cuts, or if you're someone who likes to color, I heard there's people out there who like to color, I'm not one of them, you can stamp and color, and then the Storybook Friends dies will cut out those animals, and they cut out 3 different frames, and we're using one of them here. Before we go any farther, I want to talk about the frame. So the frame I'm using cuts out the outside frame and the center. And the first time I did it, I thought, oh, I'll just die cut it again with the plaid I want behind it to have the piece that goes in the frame. Well, what happened when I did that, and I don't think you can see it here, but no matter how I laid it in there, I got a gap that I didn't like. And yes, I'm probably the only one that would notice it. So if that's the way you want to work, go for it. But I just wanted a different way. So let me show you what I did. I started with a rectangular piece. The size is will be in my blog post. And I laid it back here to see if I could tape it down, and I could. But then, it's hard to see, but I have these little tails sticking up where the frame curves. I didn't like that. So what I did was I made like a template, and I figured where I had to trim them to get the to get it to hide. So here's what I did. I have my little template, and I did it in a bright color so I don't lose it. And then I'm just going to trim. So I don't have to stop every time and make a pencil mark and figure out where it goes. And then what I did, we're going to put this template away so I don't lose it. Then I turned it over. Yep, you're leaving too. There we go. And I set it even with the bottom and the sides. And you can tell nothing's going to show. So then I'm going to grab some tear and tape. I don't need a lot, because we're also going to attach it with some dimensionals later in making the card. But I sometimes start with these little pieces because I don't know about you, but on my table, they can get lost. And if I kind of work with them right away, that works better. This is a card that we're making this month in our card class at Cobb. And I list on my class list, Cobb class. And a friend of mine reached out and said, what's a Cobb class? Well, a Cobb class takes place at the Cobb Public Library in this delightful little town called Cobb, Wisconsin. So that's the other reason I did that little template, because it will just be easier for people there. Okay. Now we have this pretty little misty moonlight frame with a crumb cake. Let's call it a check. All right. Then, to kind of build on that check idea, I have a misty moonlight check and crumb cake. See how we're kind of following a color theme here? And I'm going to just attach those. I'm going to use a tape runner because that's my favorite adhesive. And because I'm going to run this through an embossing folder, and if I were to use multi-purpose glue, a great adhesive, and if I got too much on, when I put pressure on it in the embossing folder, that multi-purpose glue is just going to come squirting out. It's going to come on my folder. It's just going to get everywhere I don't want it to be. Okay. So I'm using the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. I'm going to use plates 1 and 4. I just want to share with you, if you're someone like myself who makes multiple cards, these longer folders, you can emboss 2 at a time. Let me quick show you how easy that is. So I have another card front ready. And again, I don't need a lot of adhesive because just embossing, it's going to kind of press the 2 together. But watch what you can do. Because I hope maybe you are somebody who makes multiple cards at a time. That means you're sending lots of cards, and that's a great thing. All right, so I'm going to line this up here. And this Forever Plaid actually has lines that makes it easy to line up. There we go. We're going to do 2 at the same time. And we're using plates 1 and 4. I'm going to grab my cut and emboss machine. Take the sides down. Plate 1, always use plate 1. Then I'm putting down my embossing folder. Fold first, and I can see the Stampin' Up logo on top. And here's plate 4. And then we're just going to run them through, just like that. And I have it on my glass mat, and I'm just going to hold it because I can go faster that way. There we go. And I'm going to slow down now because I'm really close to my camera stand. And neither you nor I want to see what happens when I hit the camera stand. There we go. Because I've already cut the frame, this is all we're going to need. And you know, the good thing about using those little die cut pieces, there's no cutting either. They just pop out of the sheet. And you get 2, it's the same set, but you get 2 of each creature because there's 2 sheets of die cuts. So there we go. 1 run through there. And I have 2 embossed card fronts. Like, how great is that? All right, let's make a card. Enough talking. Well, not enough talking, but enough going on and on about how much I love it. All right. So I have a Misty Moonlight card base that I'm folding in half. I'm going to give it a nice, crisp fold. Then I'm going to attach this. Now, with those embossing folders that give you such a great texture, it really changes your paper. I mean, there's a lot here. So you're going to need to be pretty generous with your adhesive. This is where it's a great place to use the multi-purpose one because it's going to go in all those crevices and it's going to catch. And I'm going to use quite a bit in the center. Notice I'm not going really more than a 1/2 inch to the outside because we're going to push really hard down on this. And I don't want that glue kind of spreading out onto my card base. So that's going to go here. Don't you love that color combination? The brown, the crumb cake brings in the rabbit. This pretty little blue picks up the blue in the dress of the rabbit. And now I have this, but I want the sides to be really tight, so I'm going to turn it over. And I'm just grabbing a bone folder and I'm kind of pushing it down from the back. All right. That's done. Now we have our charming little frame. And we're going to turn that over and we're going to grab some dimensionals. And I'm going to be careful. I'm only putting dimensionals on the outside. None are going in the center because I'm also going to put dimensionals on the rabbit and that will be in the center. And I'm avoiding a double thickness of dimensionals. So I could, as long as I put dimensionals on the outside and the ones on the rabbit on the inside, I can put as many as I want because it will still flatten to the thickness of one dimensional. And I think that might work. So let's take off the backings of those. And we want to contain those backings because they're going to travel. My friend Jennifer taught me just to have a little container on my crafting table. And I have to tell you, that has worked really well. That's going to go there. And then just, I did it sideways, not sideways, to the side, sorry, Whoa. And that's going to go right here. There. Now, here's our adorable little bunny. And let's put a couple dimensionals just in the center there. And I chose not to do a sentiment on the outside. As I said, this is a card for class. And that way, by not putting a sentiment on the outside, people can make it whatever kind of card you want. It'd be a cute little baby card, a birthday card, of course, an Easter or a spring, or just a thinking of you. So that just gives you more freedom to have the card be whatever you want if you can keep your sentiment to the inside. Now, though, I needed one more thing for this little bunny card, and I decided to go with the butterflies. So the brushed brass butterflies come in 2 sizes, and I used a smaller one inside the frame. It seemed to fit better, and 2 larger ones there. And because our bunny seems to be looking up at something, I felt like the butterflies were a great fit. So let's see if we can get one close, like it's almost, yeah, I think I don't want it landing on our nose. We'll go there. Then I'm going to use the 2 larger ones to the outside here. There's one, and there's one. And as I said, I'm doing the Easter greeting for this card. And this is from, as I showed you, the Storybook Friends. And then we're going to just bring the front of the card to the inside. So I have a little 1/2-inch scrap of the same paper I used on the front. And that's going to go here. Just like that. And then we're going to put this here. That there. And you know, the great thing about multi-purpose glue is you have a couple seconds to move it around. While we're gluing, let's do our envelope too. And you know, the great thing about using 2 prints on your envelope or on your card front, you have some choices about what to use on the envelope flap. Because I'm using such a small amount of the crumb cake check, I have more of that paper, so I'm going to use that on the envelope. It all works together. That's going to go here. I'm just going to glue on the outside. And then this piece will go there. Let's do a little trimming. We're going to trim this. We're going to trim this. Those are done. Let's trim our envelope, and our card is almost done. And I have another Easter card to add to my stash so that I can get mailed out in early April. I love sharing cards with you. It's a way for me to get some cards done. There we go. Okay. Let's add this to the inside of our card. You could use the multi-purpose glue. I just love this Seal Plus tape runner, so that's what I'm going to use. And that's going inside there. And see what that does? Just that little 1/2-inch scrap of paper. Like, what were you going to do with a 1/2-inch scrap? Anyway, let's put it on your card. Or inside your card, rather. So there's our card. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it more than you know. If you liked what you saw, please share it with your crafty friends. Until next time, take care and keep crafting. It's good for you.